What's up? Semen retention. Loneliness can create terribly miserable men because of his bad habits. Rotting. Now, like I said in other videos, being alone is not inherently bad or good. It's just what you make out of it, right? Most guys, they have bad habits and they be lonely and they be alone and isolated. They are gonna, rot as a person, because whatever you do, the loneliness or the being alone or being isolated is gonna amplify it. So if I'm working hard in life and I'm grinding and I'm focused, being alone is gonna amplify that. So it's gonna make me, be even more focused, have even more clarity, work even harder because I just got that full focus on that one thing. And the loneliness is actually, or the being alone is actually helping me. When you have bad habits and you're alone, this is gonna, make it even worse because you're alone. At the end of the day, when you're alone, it's whatever you put your energy onto. So when you put your energy on bad habits and put your time and your focus and attention on bad habits and you doing those things, these things are gonna make you feel bad about yourself. But then you being alone is gonna create, it's gonna amplify that to an even deeper level. And that's what truly destroys a man from being, sane, from, even accomplishing things in life, to being hardworking, to caring about people, because it start to create a person where the man don't even know himself anymore, and who he's supposed to be or who he wants to be, that's fading away, and he's just riding as a person. Who he is riding, and he's becoming, a monster inside, really. He's becoming more evil, more dull, less of a personality. He's becoming more like a demon. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like this before too. And masturbation doesn't only just make you depressed or sad, it makes you extremely negative. Extremely, it can make you extremely mean, extremely selfish. You get what I'm saying? And at the same time, scary, you know? And so it does all those things. And I can just tell you from personal experience, uh, it will always be a feeling I would get when I used to relapse and masturbate every single day. It would always be a feeling that I would get, because I was lonely. I was really lonely too at that time. I think, I was really lonely at that time. And it would always be a feeling that I would get that when I would go to sleep, whenever I would go to sleep or I would get tired, I would feel even worse. So I don't know, I would feel like even more depressed and sad and more tired than usual when I felt like my regular sleepiness, it would be some type of like a even stronger type of depression that would come over me whenever I would masturbate on a daily basis. And whenever it was like at nighttime, it was time for me to go to sleep, I would be even more depressed. I don't know how to explain that, but it would be times where I just like feel sleepy and my mind would be super groggy. I would be super negative and super, I don't know. I would just feel like nothing felt good. I didn't feel good, you know? And I would have feelings like that on a daily basis. And it would be like strong feelings of that, And I could really tell you that loneliness, because whenever you in a dark room and you're not around nobody all day and you just all inside of your head and your imaginations and stuff, and you just create false realities of stuff, whenever you get around real people, that's when you recognize you got an actual problem, and that's how it happened with me, you know but I notice whenever I get around people, you know something comes back to I come back to reality. But once I've seen that what I've been doing, that's what make it feel bad, because when you try to live in a false reality and then you come back to reality, reality shows how much of a loser you are. You get what I'm saying? Reality gonna show you how much you're really struggling and you how much you really have a problem, you know. But when you don't do stuff that's outside, just an uncontrolled imagination or just something just where you just completely, you know, exit out of reality, then you're forced to actually, not be in your head all day and actually get some stuff done in the real world to where you won't feel that depressing feeling and you also not messing up your, what the sexual energy is meant for. Your sexual energy is meant for a woman. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna act like you get what I'm saying. Boom. Like it's like none of this stuff is easy. You get what I'm saying? But you can do it, you know? You can do all this, and I think the best advice that I could give is if you have an addiction, you know what I'm saying, to masturbation or whatever, and you're alone a lot, even if you don't have friends or a girlfriend, be in public more. Be if you can speak to a stranger more, speak to a stranger. And I don't think that it's that easy for a man to switch from, because I've said this before, but I think it does need a little bit of time when it comes to if you're lonely and you got bad habits. Sometimes it's better for you to try to get around more people for a while until you can control yourself by yourself, and then you can go back to being alone, but you have good habits. So that means you're still like you know how to speak to people. You don't feel bad about yourself. You get what I'm saying? And at some point, you know what I mean, life is about being social with people, interact with people, spending time with your loved ones, people you care about, friends, strangers, family, just be around people in general. Like that's my thing. But I'm saying that when it comes to a lot of bad habits, it's good to talk to people. It's good to, you know what I'm saying, connect with people. It's good to, uh get around the community people that's gonna kind of hold you accountable and help you get out of that, because I really think I think you can do it, but it's a harder transition to put, like, if you're alone all the time and you're trying to switch from bad habits to good habits, that can be done. But I think that if you do that, there's that's a little bit harder to do. I'm just not gonna lie. I think that's a little bit harder to do, just because you're not gonna be able to switch those habits that easily if you be alone. I think another thing about being alone is it's easy to get stuck in your own way of doing things. And if you get a little bit more social with certain stuff, I feel like, it's all the mental thing. It wouldn't really matter if you were social or you were alone. But I just think it's a good idea to know how to talk to people, to know how to speak to people and all that type of stuff. And just to understand that, because I really didn't even know where I was about to go with that last part. But the main thing I'm trying to say is, because I was losing the point of what I was even making a video about for a second. Uh, the point is, bro, be careful when you alone. Be careful, and it's important not to have bad habits when you're by yourself. You get what I mean? If you're gonna have bad habits and stuff, at least go and be around other people. But either way it go, you don't want to have bad habits in general. But I'm just saying, the loneliness is just gonna be an amplifier to whatever you do. It really is. And yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say. He's out.